Call this work session Monday, December 1st to order. Invocation given by Ms. Tolliver and pledge allegiance by Ms. Frederick.
May we bow our heads. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for the many blessings you have in store for our city. Father, continue to keep your arms and protection around our first responders. Father, please go with each one of us that sits up here to make the decisions for our city. Continue to keep your arms of protection around our mayor, and from there on, just continue to help our city throughout. In God's name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hands up out in the parking lot.
Thank you, sir. Number one tonight is discuss the amending the business license ordinance. Ms. Roden.
So, when we presented this last time, you had some concerns and questions with some of the increases that were in this proposal. So I went back and I looked at some of the higher affected businesses, and we changed the percentages back so they wouldn't be as high. And then also, I think if we were to adjust this every couple of years, then we wouldn't be in this situation, you know, where we're trying to catch up all at once. I mean, 17 years is a long time to go without looking at any of this. And then maybe in the next couple of years, 3 to 5 years, then we could, you know, bump it back up to my original proposal.
So in the packet, you have two options here, correct? Option one and option two?
Option one was the original.
Okay, okay,
Option two is
Okay.
Sunday.
okay. That way you can see in your packet where she's changed.
And it's basically the rate schedule 1 and the rate schedule 18.
Mr. Chairman, I think it's also due to be noted, as Ms. Roden said, this has not been addressed in 17 years.
Correct.
And imagine what costs have gone up for all of us just living our lives in the last 17 years.
Anyone have any questions or comments on this?
I just want to thank Monica for working on this and
Thank you.
being open to suggestions.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Stewart, definitely. I know you put a lot of time into this, and we really appreciate it.
My concern was just that I don't want to hurt businesses and industries in
I
Scottsboro.
understand that, for sure. But again, you know, it's even the percentage that we are getting is very trivial, you know, compared to, I know some of the numbers look big, but some of their income is big too. So that's why some of them look like that. But you know, it's the top part. The bottom portion didn't really change. So maybe if you were paying $25 for a minimum license and it went up to $50. You know, it's mainly those at the closer to the top, and not trying to hurt
The ones at the
you know,
bottom.
the smaller ones at the bottom. So.
Anyone have any questions? If not, we'll move that to next week's meeting. Thank you. Number two, discuss the resolution to award the financing bid. Ms. Phillips, you go over that.
We sent out bids for financing a new front loader for the solid waste department. We hand-delivered 5 bids and received 5 bids for the financing. The low bid was Cadence Bank at 3.75%.
Any questions or comments on that? Hearing none, we'll move that to next week's meeting. Number three, discuss the resolution with the one-time pay raise. Mr. Kennemer, will you please go over that?
Thank you, Mr. Bailey. As I have said before, on similar occasions. Years ago, the Alabama legislature passed a law which forbade bonuses to public employees. That included Christmas bonuses. Municipalities such as Scottsboro, with my predecessor, Mr. Lee, were smart enough to come up with a way around that. So the way around avoiding a violation of the law is to have a one-time pay raise. So for the last 30-odd years, the city of Scottsboro, instead of giving a Christmas bonus, which would be illegal, gives each of their employees a one-time pay raise. At the same time, you would normally get your Christmas bonus. This is the resolution for the annual City of Scottsboro Christmas bonus / one-time pay raise.
Thank you, Mr. Kimmer. I always love hearing you tell that story. Anyone have any questions or comments on that? All right, hearing none, we'll move that to next week's meeting. All right, number 4, discuss a new public safety pay scale. All right, so in your packet, you'll see you have 3 options in here, and you also have our current pay scale. Now, option 1, during this whole process, which has been a process, guys, me and Monica kind of sat down and heard everybody wanted their own pay scale, so we came up with the pay scale just using today's figures and dropping it in. Some people would, but still using the 6, 7, 8% drops. So some people would get a little more still that way. So with that being said, that's what your option 1 is in here. Option 2 is the police proposed one. So, Ryan?
Mr. Mayor, Council, it's, most of you know me. I'm Ryan Putman. I'm a captain with the police department. Most of you at some point have probably regretted giving me your cell phone number, Mike especially. So we started on this discussion probably 3-4 months ago.
Yes, sir.
And from the police department's perspective, the biggest issue that we had was obviously the progression through ranks. The highest proposed pay scale, or the highest proposed raise that you would get moving through this pay scale was from officer to sergeant, which was the least amount of responsibility in the department. That was after the pay scale issues over the years where there had been $1, $1.50, not a percentage added. That had cut down to roughly 8% increase from officer to sergeant. From sergeant to lieutenant would be about 4%, so on and so forth. And the raises went down, but the responsibility went up. That was an issue we felt like we needed to rectify. We sat down with the fire department. They had a proposed scale, and we have went back and forth over this. This has been like haggling over a used car for the last 4 months. The option 1 is the one that Councilman Bailey came up with and Ms. Roden. And we felt like it was fair on the progression, the 6, 7, 8, and 8. It rectified that part of it, but there were some issues on the bottom side, and it left it kind of off. You had a 4% annual increase for lieutenants, captains, and majors until the last 2 years, which became 5%. But when you look at the patrol division, or the patrol level and the sergeant level, that was still left at an odd. It would be 4.1% one year. It might be 3.9% the next year, and that just didn't. That just does not mesh up very well. So what I came up with was the middle ground, really between the two, that added a 2% increase to the very base pay for an officer. Made it to $45,184 with a probationary step. The probationary step would be for a new hire that's uncertified. They would start at $44,298 a year, which is the current starting pay for a police officer. At the point that they graduate the police academy and become certified, or a fireman becomes certified through the fire academy, they would move to step 1, range 1, which is the $45,184. That'd save a little bit of money across that board. But what it did was it brought the annual pay raises in line with the top 3 ranks at 4% until the last 2 steps, which was 5%. So you're looking at a 2% increase at the bottom with 6% increase to sergeant, 7% to lieutenant, 8% to captain, 8% to major. Now, that puts us a step closer to what it really needs to be. Since COVID, a lot of places around us have drastically increased their pay because it's become harder and harder and harder to staff the police department and the fire department. Every one of y'all know it. We've talked to y'all about this. We've been at one point 11 officers short. When you're 11 officers short in a 44-man department, that's a major hit. That's 25% of your workforce. That causes a lot of issues. The fire department's had the same issue. Part of that's because Fort Payne, Gunnersville, everywhere around us has adjusted and adjusted and adjusted, and we've fallen behind on this. This gets us a step closer to that. That gets us in that range. We don't have to be higher than them, but we have to be high enough that it's not worth leaving to go down the road. We have to be within that range. I feel like the step 2 gets us to that point. That's the middle ground between what was originally proposed and what the council came back with. I feel like that's pretty self-explanatory. That simplifies that process drastically. It gets your raises equal across the board. That would put everybody falling on that scale where they are now and bump to the next highest step. So it would not be some drastic shift in cost overnight. This would be absorbed over the next several years. Primarily, it gets the disparities between rank fixed. Because when you ask somebody to promote to lieutenant or promote to captain or promote to major, and you have an officer who supervises nobody, works their days on and they go off, or works their days on and when they're off, and the difference between them and the major who supervises 76 employees at the police department, the difference annually is about $12,000 a year. That does not compute. It is not worth it. It's not worth the headache. It's not worth the stress. It's not worth the responsibility. And that has to be adequately compensated. So take a look at that, see what you think. Councilman Bailey and I have discussed it. Ms. Frederick, we've discussed it, and I feel like that was a fair compromise.
You know, we talked about this at length for a long time, and under the old pay scale,
Yes.
you know, we talked about when you got to the brass, when
Yes.
you got to the officers, lieutenant, sergeant, on up, there wasn't enough difference between
No,
when you
none
took
at all.
when you took the promotion.
No, it's not worth the responsibility.
Well, number 2, take care of that.
Number 2 will take care of that, yes.
Okay.
Number 2 will take care of that.
Because at one time, we had that conversation that I thought we could fix that under the old scale. But at that time, you seemed to think that the patrol officers were okay. But are they not?
It can always go up. I feel like I feel like to fix it, and the reason I did that and I added the 2% under the old scale, it's an off percentage. This brings this in line with the entire scale. What this does is this took the scale that Councilman Bailey and Ms. Roden came up with and fixed the 2 bottom runs, the officer and sergeant, to get them in line with the top 3 on their annual pay raises. Everybody knows you're going to get a 4% pay raise every year till the last 2 at 5%, regardless of what rank you're at. But because that actually lowered the annual percentage increase for the first 8 years, because now it's mostly around 4.1%. You've got to come up at that bottom by 2% so people don't lose money. You can't take money away from people that are already, I mean, if they're making a certain wage, you can't cut that wage. You do that, that's career suicide. That's, God help you.
If, I know all this didn't happen overnight, but how long do you think in the past did it start getting out of line with everybody else?
COVID. Realistically, COVID. It's a back and forth when you take Gunnersville, Albertville, Fort Payne, Coleman.
So probably about 5 years,
About
4.5
5 years ago was where some things really started separating. They took some really big increases. I mean, I can tell you right now that the top out on that major's position right now on the scale 2 is still about $12,000 to $15,000 a year lower than the same guy at Fort Payne. The captain's position at what it is on there is still about $10,000 to $12,000 a year lower than it is at Fort Payne. But it's a step in the right direction. Nobody expects everything to be fixed overnight. And Mr. Bailey and Ms. Frederick gonna know, we've compromised, we've battled back and forth, and I don't feel like any of us have really been unreasonable.
Well, I don't feel like it was a battle. I think,
It-
I really feel like y'all done a great job presenting your case, and I appreciate you working with me.
Well, and that's
coming up with
honestly, for the first time in a long time, that's the police department, and the fire department actually coming together
Yes.
and trying to work together to accomplish something. I feel like it went well. It was a good discussion.
Yes.
Y'all have listened to us and vice versa. I feel like that's as close to a middle ground compromise as could possibly get.
Well, I know, I've been on the council 7 years,
Yes.
and it's never come to this before. Everybody wants a raise every year.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I don't remember if it came up last year with jumps like this or anything or not. I don't remember, but I can guarantee it hadn't in 6 years.
Yeah.
So that's why I asked the question, when did this start?
It's incremental. It's like anything else. It doesn't just happen
A
overnight.
little every year.
The difference is their little's been more than our little. And over 5-6 years, that adds up.
Yeah.
I mean, when I started here, we made quite a bit more than Fort Payne. Officers are still comparable, but as you move up that scale, it's nowhere near. And that's been an issue. And like I said, anywhere else you go, the raises increase as you increase in responsibility. You know, you take something, you go from supervising 5 people to supervising 20 people, you don't expect half the raise that you got last time. I mean, that makes no sense. And that's gotten worse and worse and worse. And part of that, and I know we've discussed that, part of that was the raise structure here on the cost of living adjustments. Cost of living adjustments really need to be percentages and not flat dollars, because it throws off your percentages across the entire scale.
We didn't find that out till this year.
I know.
You know, we thought it was 5% a year, no matter
But
what.
you got to remember, 7 years ago, we're standing here and we're saying that bottom number, that starting
Absolutely.
officer, we can't
Absolutely.
hire them because they were
And-
11 short.
And I will be.
that's
let-
how we tackled it.
Let me be the first to say that y'all did a fantastic job getting that to a
Thank you.
reasonable point. That's fixed some of that problem. But in doing so, it did create another problem. Sometimes when you do something goes too far in one direction and you've got to bring it back to the middle. I feel like this gets us to a good point. So,
Anyone have any questions?
questions?
All right, thank you.
All right.
All right, now, option 3 you have in your scale. Chief Lee? We'll go over that. And let me tell the council, if you don't know, at the bottom of each one of these, Ms. Roden has kind of figured up, year 1 would be the rest of the fiscal year for this year, and you'll see a full year what these would cost to do. So, all right, go ahead, Chief.
Well, first off, thank y'all for listening to us tonight. I do think this is a much-needed adjustment to the pay scale. Pretty much agree with everything that Mr. Putman just spoke about. I'll add a little bit to that, and Charlie, you can join me if you want to. I'm sure I'll leave something out. But our goals coming into this, we really had 3 major goals. We wanted to get the pay difference larger between the grades, as Ryan spoke about. Definitely need to become more comparable to our neighboring departments. And when I say neighboring departments, I'm talking the Fort Payne, Gunnersville, Albertville, not the Huntsville, Madison. I know that's a different comparison there. And lastly is we want a simple and accurate pay scale. And with pay scale 3, the end numbers are very comparable to the other 2. They're slightly adjusted on the top end. We're starting at a 3% for the base pay on firefighter. So technically, only a brand-new firefighter would get that 3% raise. Everybody else would be between 0 and 3, depending on where they fall on the scale. But we're looking at 4% across the board on the annual raises for every year, and then an 8% down between the grades. And for that reason, it's just to keep it simple. Other than that, it's just, like I said, getting a bigger difference between the grades, simple and accurate scale, and comparable. And we're fighting the same battles that the police department is. We've hired 14 in the last 3.5 years. That's every single one of our firefighters. Our senior firefighter has 3.5 years right now. And when I say firefighter, I'm not talking about drivers, lieutenant, battalion chief. A firefighter is 3.5 years. And in our situation, we're having to send these guys to our outlying stations a month in, like we have no other option. Like that's what we're come to, and it's kind of a scary situation that we're getting into. So we really want to try to fight this battle of retaining who we've got and keeping them here for the long haul.
One question, John.
Yes, sir.
On number 3, you're proposed like, except for the sergeant, lieutenant, captain, and deputy chief, they all get 8%. Is this each year? And the other ones get 4%?
The 8% is if you get a promotion only. It's 8% from
Yeah.
firefighter to driver is 8%, driver to lieutenant, and I'm speaking just fire department on this.
Yeah.
Driver or a sergeant, if he gets promoted to a lieutenant, it's 8%. It's just to keep it simple. We're not second guessing ourselves or worrying about what it is it 6, 7, 8? It's just 8 down if you get a promotion, and then a 4% on your
After you
annual
get the
evals.
8, the next year you'll be on a 4, like everybody else. Is that right?
Yes, if you're not topped out.
Yeah.
Biggest
Well, they're all pretty close, but yes.
The biggest difference with us, really and truly, it's a little bit different on the top end. Not much. It's very comparable, but it's just keeping it simple. We fought the 3.5 or 4 point whatever, and we just want to keep it simple going forward. 4% and 8%. You know what you're getting every year. It's 4. If you get a promotion, it's 8.
And if you'll see 2 and 3, if you look at a full year down at the bottom, you can see the difference. And that's for the whole department.
You know, when we were given dollar amounts, that's when the percentage got messed up.
Yes, that's
somehow.
correct.
I don't know how.
Yes.
Where it went from 5% down to
Well,
4.5 or whatever it was.
right.
I don't think it was ever really 5%. I think it'd gotten off long before us, but it made it worse. That's for sure.
Well, that's what I was always told, and that's what I always told them, and I told them wrong. Because I thought it was 5 every year, no matter
Well, I
what.
think that's what was told to people when they were hired, but I don't know if it
Could've
really
been.
was. But yes, the $1.50 and then the $1.25, those 2 years definitely changed that.
Right. It helped, granted, like Mr. Putman said, it helped us for sure, but it did create another issue with the pay scale. So,
You lost a little bit the next year.
but it just throws those percentages
A
off.
few tenths.
Yeah. Yep. That's all we're looking for, simplicity, a bigger difference between the promotions. Like he said, when a driver gets promoted to a lieutenant, he's taking on more of a supervisory role, and then currently it's for a very little increase, and so on and so on. So we want to make these guys look forward and want to get promoted, and look forward to getting promoted and keeping them here and retaining them.
Yes.
What I
Retention,
forget, y'all?
retention. Right, Greg?
That's it. That's key. Because it is costing us a lot of money to hire these folks every year and get them trained, spend up to 2 years getting them through a school, getting them through an EMT school, getting them fitted in turnouts. It's a lot of money spent on a new hire for sure.
All right, anyone having questions? Chief Lee or Charlie, we'll make him get up.
Yeah, come on, Charlie.
Come on, Charlie, say something.
Anyone have any questions, comments on any of it?
I do want to say I appreciate all the work that everybody put into it. We started with Brian and Kyle, and then it branched out to Charlie and John and a few more, and meetings and meetings and meetings. I appreciate
Right.
all the work that y'all put into it. I know
Yeah.
It was a lot. And Monica, crunching those numbers.
Monica made a lot of different pay scales the last 3
So
months.
yeah.
Yes.
Well, again, thank y'all for listening. to
Thank
us.
you.
Do you have any questions?
Yes, I do. I just want to tell y'all, I appreciate all y'all, police and fire. Y'all do a job well done all the time, and if we could, we would do whatever we can up here to help y'all. I promise you that. I just want y'all to know I truly appreciate everything y'all do every day, and I think everybody up here do.
Well, I definitely, with the meetings we've had and where we started to where we are right now, I appreciate what you've done because
Yeah,
I didn't know if we were gonna get here at the beginning.
Right, we feel like we're making
We-
some progress.
I do too.
and looking
We
forward to
got
the
kind of
future.
cross there at times, but we all worked it out and come back friends, you know, that's what it's all about.
Right, and I know, Mike, you asked, you know, when it come about, we kind of fell behind, and it, from what I've learned through speaking with other fire chiefs, it was that COVID mark, the 2020. Other departments started having fairly substantial pay raises at one time, and it's just, they've just kind of leaped us a little bit there
Yeah.
since the COVID.
And we thought we was doing pretty good at times.
2020.
You know,
Well, there were a lot of places used COVID for pay raises, and then they just had to absorb it afterwards.
Right.
And that's, I think, where we got behind.
Is that when it was separated mostly during COVID? All these other municipalities?
Yes.
Separated?
From 2020 until now.
Especially Fort Payne, because I have that, and Fort Payne really went over and beyond during COVID. I have those numbers.
What we didn't mention, if y'all would like to, is as far as the pay scale goes, how many departments do have a separate pay scale?
Every fire chief I've talked to has a separate
Yes.
first responder pay scale.
You talking about fire from police?
No, first responders, period, separate from
Oh,
city,
okay.
rest of the city.
Everyone I talked to is that way.
Yes.
It's just a different work schedule, different hours worked. There's a lot of different things compared to the normal work period.
I knew that wasn't brought up, but it needed to be, so. All right. Anyone else have any questions or comments? All right.
I just appreciate everybody working together on looking at this. I know when I got appointed, I think, Lee, you may have texted me 5 minutes after I got sworn in. But anyway, I just really appreciate everybody working together and Monica crunching the numbers. So,
Yep, thank you, Monica. And again, I don't think any of these are perfect by no means, but I do think it is a big
Start.
step in the right direction.
Yeah.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you,
We'll-
John.
We'll definitely put that on next week's meeting. Yeah. All right. That'll conclude the meeting tonight. There's no delegation, so we'll go to reports. Mayor?
Thank you, Mr. President. The only thing I've got tonight is we dedicated Cecil Wells Drive this afternoon at 2 o'clock. It's beside the county jail. It's in honor of Reserve Deputy Cecil Wells, and it is Cecil Wells Drive from Parks to the next intersection past the jail. So we were happy to be able to get that done today. And that's all I've got, Mr. President.
All right, thank you. Mr. Stewart?
I was going to say something about Cecil Wells. I saw Chris. I went to high school with him, and he shared it on Facebook today. Just that was a great thing that we did for Cecil and that family. The other thing is the Christmas parade is next Monday. Nita's going to have her own bucket to throw out and not run out of
Yes.
candy. Just the football team came up a little short, but I'll tell you, this community coming together with the support behind with them. I know the expectations for all our sports is high, but I don't know that anyone would have known that we would have gone to the Final Four this year. So a lot of good momentum with a lot of state championships last year that probably helped push everything forward this year. So just looking forward to basketball coming up. So that's all I have.
Speaking of basketball, Ms. Tolliver?
Yes, tomorrow night we will be playing Fort Payne, and you know they call themselves the Wildcats, but we are the true Wildcats. So make sure you come out to Hembrick Hall. Would love to see you. But a couple other things I'm going to touch base on. Downtown, our business is going to be opening up Saturday. Please come down to Jingle Bell Square. Saturday night from 5 to 8 will be Jingle Bells Trail. And King Caldwell Park, the trees will be lit up. So we want you there. Our council is going to be serving hot chocolate. So I'm putting them on the spot. So y'all all heard that, right? So they will be there on Saturday from 5 to 8 serving hot chocolate, okay? I think that's it. And like I said, I do appreciate our first responders. And if y'all have any time, I have a list right here. It's called Salvation Army. They are needing somebody to ring the bell, and I need you. I would love for your face to be sitting outside of Walmart, okay? So I'm going to be there too. So anytime y'all have any available time, please come see me because every little bit helps for our community. Thank you. Thank you, Todd, for this morning too. I'm done.
I was ready to cut you off before she signed us all up for something. Mr. Ashford?
Patrick and Nita took up all my time, so I don't have anything. Thank you.
Yeah. Ms. Frederick?
I want to say one more thing about the dedication to Cecil Wells today. It was a very nice ceremony, well-deserved. And another thing, I want to give a shout out to Mike Hastings because he made the sign and he orchestrated a lot of that. He did a lot of work, and I'm proud of Mike and what he does for the city. That's it.
Thank you. I appreciate everyone coming out. December 8th, next Monday, we will have a meeting before the parade, so we'll be quick and get down there. December 15th will be a work session, and then a little different. December 17th will be the meeting. It's a Wednesday at noon. So we'll be having that at noon. So that's it. So appreciate